and looks back, Brother Darrell, is not fit for the kingdom of heaven. What is he saying? He says this: if God equips you to go forward, quit looking behind you. Amen. Because the back glass is smaller than the front glass. There's a reason behind that. You ain't supposed to be driving that way. Self-worth. Sometimes Satan comes up and tells me, you used to really do it really bad. I'd be preaching in places, they'd say, he'd say, you're shelling the corn, but they're not getting it. That innermost person will start speaking to you, and if you listen to him, you can't be prosperous and work for God. So what I do is I don't listen to him. I keep pushing forward, like Paul striving towards a mark, binding up the wounded. I remember the story very quickly, and I'm fixing to close, about blind Bartimaeus. You know who blind Bartimaeus? Not blind Bartimaeus. You remember Mephibosheth? I'm sorry, Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was Jonathan's son. Who's Jonathan? He was Saul's son. Who's Saul? He was the king of Israel. Saul was the king of Israel, and Jonathan was his son. And finally one day they both were slain out on the battlefield. And when they were slain on the battlefield, David came into prosperity, came into power. And when he came into power, here's what happened. Right when he came in, he looked around, and he talked to, I think it was Joab or Ziba. Says, anybody from the descendants of Saul and Jonathan's descendants that I can bless? Now, bless. Now, you said, what's so strange about that? See, back in them days, when the old regime died, the new regime, the new king come in, he would kill all their ancestors. He would just, he would get rid of all of them. Why did he do that? He didn't want no one to come up and take his kingship, so he'd get rid of all of them. So he asked, says, where's the descendants of Saul and Jonathan that I can bless for Jonathan's sake? They said, we got one man by the name of Mephibosheth. He's down in Lodabar in Micah's home. Said he's a crippled man. He got hurt at a youth. The story said that his handmaid was carrying him out and dropped Mephibosheth, and from that moment on he couldn't walk anymore. And he was Jonathan's son. And believe me, back in them days, if you was under the old regime, they'd kill you. They would kill you. But David was not like the old regime. He was a new regime. And he wanted to bless the descendants of Jonathan and Saul for Jonathan's sake. So he tells Ziba, said, go down to Lodabar and you get Mephibosheth and bless him. Bring him back here. Mephibosheth is in Micah's home in Lodabar. Lodabar is the lowest part you can be in that town or in that country. A place of no bread, a place of no earth, a place of no living, a place of deadness. So Ziba goes and he travels all the way down to Lodabar. Mephibosheth is in the house of Micah. He pulls up and he screams, says, is anybody here? Is Mephibosheth here? The Bible said, the commentators say that Mephibosheth hid. Ziba walks in and he finds Mephibosheth hiding. He said, you coming with me? We're going to see the King of David. King David. He takes him, carries him, puts him into the chariot, and all the way to David's house, I can just picture Mephibosheth saying, I'm fixing to die. He's fixing to take my life. He's fixing to take me out. Not thinking much worth of himself, is he? They bring him in and they bring Mephibosheth to where David is, and he bows down before David. David said, don't worry. Said, I'm going to bless you for Jonathan's sake, and you're going to have all the land that Saul had, and you're going to eat my house forever. I'm going to bless you. And here's what Mephibosheth said. I'm talking about self-worth. Sometimes we'll wound you. Mephibosheth said this to him, in my dead dog, for you to help me like you've blessed me. I felt like a dead dog. I felt so unworthy, haven't you? But as long as you feel unworthy, Satan's wounded you. Because God has called each and one of you to do something for His ministry. Amen?
Amen.
And He will equip you to make you worthy to do His bidding. Self-worth sometimes will wound you. How many of you now today or this evening is wounded by sin